Hello everyone, how are you? I hope that you are doing well. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Nina or Sinfulpluto, and if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you for joining us here again today, and I hope that you enjoy your stay here with all of us, and I hope that you receive a message that you need to hear for the next week. So I am doing things differently now. I am no longer going to be doing the bi-weekly or weekly videos for the signs just because it was really exhausting and I enjoyed it, but I think it's time for a change. I think it's time for something different, and I decided to do just that. So what I'm going to be doing is very much inspired by Shanita's Divine Tarot here on YouTube. She basically does general weekly readings, and then she does a pick a card in the same video. And so I kind of really wanted to do that, so I'm very much inspired by that. That's kind of the format that I want to follow now. So yeah, I just decided to do that. I think it'd be a lot easier for myself and it wouldn't be so draining. And then while I do that, I would also be doing other videos that I really want to do, like pick a cards and stuff like that. So that is what is going to be coming ahead of us. So with that being said, let's get into it, my loves. We are going to be going over what we should be, what the overall theme, the overall energy is for the week of September 15th all the way through the 22nd. Okay? Okay. And then we'll probably talk about blockages and how to overcome them and things of that nature. We'll see how it goes, all right? I'm using the Mermaid Tarot for anyone who's curious. I'll link it down below if you're interested in purchasing it and using it for yourself. So let us get into it, my loves. So also, by the way, this is the third time, and I'm trying to sit down and film this. So many things have just come up that had just made me go back and start over. So I feel that maybe that's just kind of a sign as to how the energy is for this week, feeling a little bit scattered, feeling maybe not all that well prepared, feeling a little bit lost or confused or something along those lines, right? A little bit overwhelmed because there are a lot of changes coming our way and maybe we don't really know how to handle them. So maybe that's how some of you are feeling. So let's see. What is the overall theme for the week of September 15th all the way through the 22nd for the collective? What is the theme for the collective this week? What is the theme, overall theme of this upcoming week for the collective? What is the overall theme for the collective for the week of September 15th all the way through the 22nd? Now the cards don't want to talk, huh? There we go. We got one card. I think we got two, actually. We got the World reversed. Actually, I'll read it this way. We got the Ace of Swords reversed and the World reversed. Like that. All right. So the Ace of Swords reversed is all about kind of being stuck in the same mindset. A lot of confusion, a lot of not really knowing what to do, not really knowing how to move forward, not knowing how to forge your own path. For some of us this week, after this full moon, we have purged a lot. We have gone through the death, we've gone through the rebirth, and now we are welcoming in all of this new energy, or we're going to, especially with this new moon that is coming up in like 2 weeks, or it's coming up September 28th. Yeah, so 2 weeks. And it's a little bit overwhelming, and maybe some of us don't really know how to pick up our sword and to really move forward. There's a little bit of a lack of knowledge, feeling as though we don't know enough to really move forward. And I feel with the World reverse, for some of us, there has yet to be things that we need to cut out, or there have yet to be things to be cut out from our lives. Does that kind of make sense? The World reversed is all about a lack of fulfillment. It's about a cycle that keeps on repeating itself, about history repeating itself. It's all about feeling as though we are just stuck in the past. And with the Ace of Swords reverse, this is like an inability or a refusal to cut things off, to finally just lay down, just to kind of put the way that I imagine it, it's kind of gruesome, but you know, like the guillotine, that's kind of like how I imagine it. It's just like cutting and severing that part of your life. And it's really gory. I'm so sorry, but that just came to mind. I apologize. But that's what it feels like, is just this lack of fulfillment, feeling really unsure as to how to move forward. And some of us maybe don't even want to move forward. You know, we went through all of this process of letting go and of purging and of releasing all of these things, and everything has basically come to the surface, and everything that hasn't been released is still lingering on the surface, and we don't really know what to do with that. And maybe some of us really want to push it back down, but we can't ignore it anymore. We can't just push it back down because it's already here, you know? It's kind of like those doors. It's like a one way, basically. You can't go back. You know, once you exit, you can't open the door back. You can't open the door back. What? You can't pull the door back open. Dear God. You can't pull the door back open and go back in. You know, it's just once you're out, the door's locked, and now you gotta go, you gotta move forward. And so it might feel like some of you have kind of been abandoned, or have just this sense of just, I don't even know, loneliness, or just feeling like you just don't know where to go. I just see someone walking out that door and it's locked, and it's snowing outside and it's really cold and they have no idea which direction to follow. There's just this sense of almost emptiness. And so there's just that overall feeling this week of a lack of fulfillment, or feeling like there's just something more that you need to do this week so that you can actually move forward and reap the benefits of all of the work that you've been putting in. So there's that. We have the Knight of Swords, right? So you want to move forward. You are ready to just conquer the world. You're ready to just go to do something differently. And the way that I kind of imagine this Knight of Swords is that, you know, they're riding the wave, right? And they have the sword and everything. And I imagine them riding the wave and then landing on shore. And that wasn't really the plan that they wanted to follow through with. That wasn't, you know, going onto shore wasn't the plan, but they're there now. And so they kind of have to either, you know, go back to the old life, or, you know, go into the new and follow something different. So that's kind of what it feels like. And with the Knight of Swords, it just feels like there's this energy where you feel revitalized. And it makes sense, because a lot of us have lifted a lot of just dark and dark and really heavy things that have been weighing us down for a very long time. And so we've lifted all of that, and so we have this energy. We are feeling revitalized, but we don't know where to go. We have the energy, we have the motivation, but we don't know like what to do. And so that's kind of like the overall theme that I see here, is a need to not only move forward, but to unstick ourselves. At the bottom of the deck is the Devil. And some of us might find ourselves in this position, or in this mindset that we are trapped and we don't really know how to get out. And we're feeling really overwhelmed by the cage that we're in. And, you know, just like the mermaid, she is trapped and she doesn't know what to do. It almost feels like this feeling of hyperventilation, of just, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Overthinking, panicking, really having like a panic attack, an anxiety attack, whatever it is. And just feeling incredibly trapped, feeling really caged in. It's like you want to just crawl out of your own skin. But if you even look at the card, the lock isn't even locked. And that's just the whole theme with this week, is that we feel trapped, whether it's in our own bodies, whether we feel trapped in a situation, but we can easily leave whenever we want to. We just have to be aware. And that's why with this Ace of Swords reversed, I can see the confusion. I can see how you feel overwhelmed. I can see how our mind feels very foggy and unclear. I can see that. But we have to push ourselves out of this lack of clarity. We have to push the fogginess away, or we just have to walk through the fogginess and be really, just try to focus as much as we can, so that we can calm ourselves down and leave the situation when we can, because it's up to us. It's our choice to leave the situation. Obviously, if it's a very extreme situation like assault or harassment or abuse in any sort of way, obviously that's a lot easier said. I mean, that's not something as easy as it sounds. Or does that, hold on. Let me think about what I'm trying to say. If it's an extreme situation such as abuse or harassment or assault or whatever it may be, where you are literally being harmed physically, emotionally, psychologically, whatever it may be, obviously that is you can't just like leave in the blink of an eye. I understand that, and this doesn't apply to that sort of situation. But I see that for a lot of us, we feel trapped, and we're so focused on, you know, all of the problems. We're focusing on our sorrow. We're focusing so much on the anxiety or the doubts or the overthinking or the intrusive thoughts or the negative self-talk. And that is holding us back from finishing up this cycle with this world reversed. It's a lot of us, I think, the overall theme with this week is breaking through from our own intrusive thoughts, breaking through from all of the things that have just been holding us back, especially because we've purged everything. Of course, those things want to come back into our lives. If it's a person that you've released, if it's a person that you have cut out from your life, that person might want to come back to you. And that person will probably do certain things to try to get you back, to try to appeal to your old self. But you have to remember that you are no longer that person. You are a changed person because you decided to change. And so a lot of us might just feel really confused and really trapped in the situation and focusing so much on the doubt, on the sorrow, on all of the negativity, and not seeing what is being offered in front of us, not seeing the change, the progress that is right in front of us, not seeing how we are given the ability to move forward. And that's why we have the Knight of Swords, why we need to take action. There's a need to take action rather than just lingering in this energy. We have to move forward and we have to start moving as fast as we can and not look back. This is a time of no regrets. This is not the time for regrets. This is not the time for doubts. This is not the time for letting our intrusive thoughts get the best of us. This is time for us to take control of our own self, to take control of our own mind, and to make the choice to move forward in our lives and to do more for ourselves rather than sticking to what we know and creating a new and better reality for ourselves. And I think it's important for us to open our eyes to what is in front of us, to open our eyes to the new and bright path that is in front of us. But we can only do that if we pull ourselves out of this, you know? And we have the Eight of Wands. Again, there's that hesitation, the hesitation of moving forward, the hesitation of letting things go, the hesitation of, you know, not knowing if this is the right move for you. But I promise it is, okay? We have to take on the energy of this Knight of Swords this week. The energy is definitely that where we have to pick up our sword and we have to make a very clear decision and not go back and forth as to what we should or should not do. It's time to make a choice and go with that and not look back and not have any sort of regrets. Okay? Okay. So this is all for the overall theme. That's our theme for the week, okay? Let's see what's an important lesson that we should learn for this week, or what's an important lesson for the week? What's an important lesson for the collective for the week of September 15th through the 22nd? What is our lesson for the week? Actually, I don't want to do a lesson. I want to do a blockage. So what blockages might come up during the week of September 15th all the way through the 22nd for the collective? What blockages might the collective face during the week of September 15th all the way through the 22nd? What blockages might the collective face during the week of September 15th all the way through the 22nd? All right, we've got one card, and we have the Three of Pentacles reversed. Okay, this is our blockage. For some of us, this can signify that we are isolating ourselves and we don't want to listen to the advice of others. We might be a little bit of a know-it-all. Or it could just simply be that we don't want to work with other people. Maybe we're scared to ask for help this week. Maybe we might find ourselves having a hard time speaking up, having a hard time asking for assistance because we don't want to bother anyone. And the thing with this card is that, you know, if we need help, we have to ask for it. Otherwise, we're never going to receive it. We can't expect people to read our minds. It's kind of like that phrase where closed mouths don't get fed. If you're not saying anything, if you're not speaking up, if you're not making any sort of work to help yourself, how can you expect other people to help you? You have to go out of your way to help yourself first. For other of us, the Three of Pentacles reverse can signify that working with other people is kind of a difficulty. It's kind of a task. It's kind of a hassle rather than something that is actually helpful. The Three of Pentacles reverse can signify to me a lot of bickering among a group, whether it is a social group, a friend group, between your coworkers, among your coworkers. Maybe there's just a little bit of a hard time working with other people, maybe because there are just like little ego battles within the group, or someone thinks that they're right and the other was wrong. There's just a little bit of a trouble with collaboration, with working together, with listening to other people's ideas, with setting your pride and ego aside and listening to other people's advice and things along those lines. So that could be a little bit of an issue. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles reverse, which signifies someone doing the same thing with expecting different results. This to me really resonates with how a lot of us, we want to move out of this devil energy, right? That's the overall theme, is that we want to move out of the energy. We want to get out of the cage, but some of us could be doing that the same way that we were in the past, right? Some of us may have been trying to get out of this cage for a very long time. And there was a certain method, the way in which you approached this cage. And each time it didn't work, and each time you succumbed further and further into your temptations or addictions or your vices or bad habits or unhealthy habits or whatever it may be for you. And the Nine of Pentacles reverse is saying that as if you want to truly leave this cage and never look back and go back into the ocean and be free and be liberated and explore the rest of the ocean, so to speak, figuratively, you have to do things differently. So if, for example, you have been trying to do this all on your own, and if you have been avoiding asking for help, that is not going to help you again. And if you want a different result, you might have to ask people for help. You might need to set your pride aside and ask for assistance, to speak up, to do something other than just try to carry the weight all on your own. And I understand it can be difficult to ask for assistance, to ask for help, but there's nothing wrong in that. That asking for help doesn't mean that you are powerless or that you are helpless or that you are useless. That does not mean that. Sometimes other people's ideas and perspectives can help us bring perspective in our life and do things differently. That doesn't mean that we don't have any sort of power. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind for you. And then we have the Page of Wands reversed. So this can signify miscommunication. This can signify to me even absolutely no communication at all. So if you're not talking to people, if you're isolating yourself, again, like I said, that's not going to help you. If anything, it's going to hinder your growth and it's going to hold you back and make you fall back into old habits. And that's what we want to avoid. Okay, we've done all the work. We've done all the purging. There's no need for us to go back into that energy. Okay, we have to lock it in that little box and keep it buried and just let it go, so that the earth, or so that we can just move forward in general, should I say. So there's that thing. The Three of Pentacles reversed and the Page of Wands reversed. This can signify some sort of gossip. So this is really a time to make sure that you're not talking to the wrong people, to make sure that you're not saying the wrong things, to make sure that you are not saying things that you might regret in the future, or not saying things that could get you in trouble in the future. And this is in the sense of just some sort of confrontation that could possibly happen if you're gossiping about someone or spreading misinformation, or maybe even poking your nose into business that just is not yours, things of that nature. Yeah. I think communication could really easily be lost in translation this week. I mean, I'm pretty sure Mercury is opposite the moon right now. I think it already came out of the aspect, but it's a very important time, or it's very important for us to be not only minding our own business, but to not say things that either we don't mean, or we're not not talk about things that we're not well informed in, to not talk about things that just isn't our business, that just, it's not for us. You know what I mean? If it's possible for you to stay out of drama, which I'm sure it is, it's very possible for you to stay out of drama. If it's possible for you to just stay in your lane, do it. Also with the Page of Wands reverse, this to me is like, make sure not to over dramatize something and blow it into something that is a lot less dramatic as it is. Page of Wands to me reversed is like someone who's crying wolf. So if there really isn't a problem, then don't make a problem out of it. That sort of thing. That's kind of what it is. So just be careful of your words. Be careful of the things you say, the tone that you use, the way in which you say things, because that really has an impact. So there we go. Alrighty. And then I want to move forward into, I mean, I already gave a little bit of advice as to how to overcome these blockages, but how can we overcome these blockages? Let's get into that. How can we overcome these blockages for the week? How can we overcome these blockages for the week of September 15th? Oh, crap. That was a lot. That was way too many cards. All right. How can we overcome these blockages this week? How can we overcome these blockages? Ooh, I got 3 cards that came out. Bottom of the deck is the Hanged Man, so a new perspective is what we need to do. But also, not playing victim. If you're playing the victim card all of the time, you might want to change your ways. If you're seeing yourself as the victim all of the time and pointing fingers at everyone and not really taking any sort of accountability for your actions or your words or behaviors or your part in something, that might need to be reevaluated. All right, so we have the Knight of Wands reversed, which signifies how we can let down our guard. This is right under the 3 of Pentacles, which I think is just really great. The Knight of Wands reverse signifies how we need to let down our guard. So in terms of asking for help, we need to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. And yes, being vulnerable is a scary thing. Yes, the fear of rejection is a scary thing. But look, note how I said the fear of rejection rather than rejection. I feel like a lot of us are kind of held back in general by fear, and we base our present on the past. That's something that I learned recently, and I thought it was just really profound. And I feel like I just feel that that was such a true statement. And so that's just something that I've been thinking about a lot. And I think that a lot of us really do base our present on the past, and we base our present based on our past experiences. And so we never really move on from the past because we're always thinking about how, a past experience affected us. And so that just must be how the present is going to be. You know what I mean? And so we have the Knight of Wands reversed, right? We need to allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to not have our guard up all of the time, to not, cage ourselves in. I feel that the biggest theme for this week is to not cage ourselves in. It's time to be free. Okay? We unlocked this little thing right here. We unlocked it. I don't know how you say it in Spanish. I mean, is it just called the lock? Because I know, like, in Spanish, did I say I don't know how to say it in Spanish? I mean, I don't know how to say it in English, but in Spanish, it's like candado, right? I'm pretty sure. Is it just called the lock in English? Anyways, sorry. Side note. But I feel that the biggest theme for us this week is how we need to not only step out of our cage, but to lock that cage and just throw it away and toss it away and never look back at it. So that we're not even tempted to go back to our temptations, to go back to our vices or addictions or bad habits or whatever sort of toxic thing that was holding us back in our lives. So we need to stop caging ourselves in, and that's how we can overcome these blockages. We have the Seven of Swords. This, to me, signifies how I think we need to be very, be very aware and very mindful of the information that we are taking in and how we use that information. The Seven of Swords can signify deception and trickery, and I think that this really resonates with this Page of Wands reversed. It's very important to use your discernment this week. If you are caught up in some sort of drama, or if you see other people caught up in drama, don't be quick to make assumptions. Don't be quick to think that you know all of the facts, because a lot of the time we were not there. We were not there to witness everything, and even if we were, our perspective would be very different from the other people that were involved. So that's just something to keep in mind, okay? Be very aware of the information that you are using and just that you are taking in, and just be aware of how you handle information that comes your way this week. And then we have the Three of Swords. This to me says, like, some of you just need to allow yourselves to grieve and to continue to grieve. If there are still things that, you know, are hurting you, and if there are still things that you have not purged yet, that's okay. That is completely 100% absolutely okay. And we all heal at different rates, and the Three of Swords is telling you, if you are still in grief, if you are still feeling a lot of sorrow, that's okay. But don't allow yourself to always linger in this energy. Allow yourself to grieve however you need to. Allow yourself to do whatever it is that you have to do so that you can heal all of the wounds, whether it's physical or mental or external or internal. And allow yourself to learn from that circumstance or that lesson or from that situation and move forward and let it go and release. I feel like this Three of Swords is just saying, do what you need to do to feel and heal everything so that ultimately you can let go of it and move forward. If there's any sort of lingering energy that, you know, you have yet to cut off, do what you have to do to go through all of it and move forward. So, yeah. I think that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm gonna listen, like, this was completely not planned out. I didn't know how I was gonna do this, but I hope all of you enjoyed. Let me know how it was. But yeah, dude, we'll see how it goes. So now that we have all of this out of the way, we're gonna go ahead into the pick a card. Okay, so let's get into that, all right? I'll see you in a second.
Hello, my loves. So here we have 3 piles. We have group 1, which is an amethyst, group 2, which is rose quartz, and group 3, which is a lapis lazuli. So go ahead and close your eyes, take a few deep, mindful breaths, and ask your spirit guides or ancestors or whoever or whatever you believe in what pile resonates with your energy. And once you have an answer, go ahead and open your eyes and skip to the time step that I will leave down below in the description box so that you can watch your reading. Okay? I love you.
Hi, Group 1. How are you? I hope that you are doing well. Let's just get right into it, I guess. So if you chose Group 1, obviously you chose the amethyst. So let's get into your cards, yeah? First, we have the Magician. So you could be dealing with a Sagittarius, Gemini, or Virgo, or maybe those are your own placements. We have the Page of Cups reversed, and we also have the Page of Swords reversed. So we have a lot of childish energy, or should I say childlike energy. It's not necessarily childish, although it very well could be, but it's more childlike. with the 2 pages, this just signifies someone very young, a little bit immature, just someone who has yet to gain a lot of experience in life. Okay. So basically with the Magician card, this is telling me that a lot of you are stepping into your own power. I feel that a lot of you are really realizing a lot about yourselves, and I think that you are just stepping into a lot of great potential that you've had for a while, but you just were not able to tap into it quite yet. And so I feel like this week you're tapping into that, and I feel that there's a lot of power that you are realizing within yourself. But I feel that with the Page of Cups reversed, this signifies someone who just doesn't really believe in themselves. It signifies someone who you have the dream, but you're kind of just discouraged. You don't feel that you're good enough. You don't feel that you are genuinely ready for the task. You're not up for the task. And with this Page of Swords reversed, there's just this overall fear of taking a risk. There's this fear of doing something wrong, or fear that you are not going to be happy with what you do, or people are going to be disapproving of you in some sort of way. That's sort of the energy here, where you're just scared to take some sort of risk. You're scared of what people might think of you. You're scared of what the potential might end up being. But the thing is that you don't even know. How can you make some sort of how can you make a sound or wise decision or well-informed decision when you don't even know what the future has in store for you? Again, I feel that the major lesson, and something that I've been learning myself, is that we can't base our present on past experiences. So if in the past you have been rejected, if in the past you have felt a certain way, or if people have treated you a certain way, that was in the past and that's not now. And you can I don't want to say very easily, but you can break that cycle, and you can break the cycle of always living in the past, of always being in that state of mind. You can it's not very easily. You can't break that cycle easily, although for some of you it can, but you can break that cycle of self-deprecating thoughts, or just not really believing in yourself. With the Page of Cups reversed, it can also signify that for some of you, you have some sort of idea, but it's not very well planned out. And I see that some of you maybe are going to be a little bit impulsive with this Page of Swords reversed. This to me just signifies a plan not very well thought out, while for some of you it can signify someone not taking a risk, or you failing to take a risk, or being scared of taking a risk for fear of doing something wrong, or for fear of lack of experience, or whatever it may be. The Page of Swords reversed can also just signify someone who goes into things without planning anything out. Someone who I think gets very caught up in the moment, and I think that once you are very much in the moment, you'll realize how you didn't really plan things out all of the way, and how you might have missed out on some very important details because you were so caught up by impulses. So it's important for some of you to be very careful as to what projects you start at this time. If anything, I would discouraging you from starting something right away, especially if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a strategy, if you don't have a map as to how you are going to approach the situation or idea or project or endeavor. It's always very important, no matter what, to have not only an idea, but to have a plan as to how you are going to execute that idea. Because yes, it's awesome to have an idea, and it might be very creative, and you might have a really awesome idea and something really innovative. But if you don't have a proper way as to how you are going to execute it, then it's kind of a pointless thing, you know what I mean? So that's just something for you to be mindful of. The Page of Cups reversed can also signify someone who is emotionally immature, someone who is caught up in their own feelings, someone who honestly has a lot of growing up to do. With the 2 pages here in the Magician, this is telling me that you have a lot of potential, you have a lot of power, you have a lot that you have a lot that can really benefit you in life. But there's a lot of maturing that has to be done emotionally and intellectually and mentally so that you can really step into this power. I feel like there's still, like I said, a maturing that has to go through, a maturing that has to take place. It could be that with the Page of Swords reversed, there's a sense of arrogance that I get with this card, of maybe thinking that you know everything, thinking that you don't really need anyone else's help and that you've got everything all together. But with the Page of Cups reversed, it just feels like there really isn't anything put together, which is completely fine. You don't have to have everything together all of the time, but if you're acting like you do and, you know, kind of pushing people away and kind of building up a little bit of a superiority complex, that's kind of where the problem lies. So that is something to note or to be aware of or mindful of for this upcoming week. Excuse me. It could also be that for some of you, maybe there are two separate energies, two younger people. I feel that for some of you, you could be like teaching them or something. Or maybe you are one of these people who is a page, right? You and another person, maybe it's you and a friend, right? Who, you know, you don't quite have everything together. And so you go to someone who has a little bit more wisdom, who has a little bit more knowledge, who has more experience. And this person can teach you how to really maneuver the situation or how to maneuver whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish, for example. And I feel that this magician person would really teach you how to mature as a person, both of you, both the Page of Cups reversed and the Page of Swords reversed. Or it could be, again, like I said, you are the one teaching two other people, or someone who just signifies both of these energies, teaching them how to basically mature a lot more as a person emotionally and intellectually, and showing them how they can tune into their own power, tune into their own abilities, and create and manifest things for their own selves. The Page of Cups reverse can also signify to me someone who takes a very pessimistic view for unexpected events. And the reason why I say that is because in the card upright, you see the fish jumping out of the cup, and normally you wouldn't expect to see a fish in a cup, right? So having the card reversed is this is someone who is not very welcoming to change, someone who's not very welcoming to unexpected things, in which case I think it's important for you to open your mind a little bit, to not be so fearful, Page of Swords reversed, not to be so fearful and get caught up in all of your anxieties and things of that nature in terms of the unexpected, because yes, it can be a little scary in the sense that you don't know what's coming, but that doesn't always, unexpected things doesn't always mean a bad thing. Just because something feels safe doesn't signify that you are supposed to be happy or that you are happy. So take take that for, you know, what it is, and just be mindful of not getting so caught up in not wanting change or not wanting to accept the unexpected, because it could very well benefit you. It could also be that there is a Gemini, Virgo, or Sagittarius who is acting a little bit childish in your life, someone who thinks that they know it all in your life, and you could be dealing with them at this time, and that could just be a little bit of an issue. Also, the Page of Cups reversed, when I was talking about that idea that you need to have a plan for, the reason why you need to have a plan is because not only are you going to burn out, but also some of you might feel uninspired or have a loss of motivation when things aren't immediately going your way. This is why it's important that, you know, yes, follow your passions, but don't just follow all of the impulses that you might have, because that could lead to unfavorable outcomes. So Page of Cups reverse can signify a potential of losing motivation, a loss of creativity, or a loss of courage, or just a loss of just the light that you once had, essentially. And with the Page of Swords reverse, it's because you kind of get in your own head. So just be careful of that, and don't allow yourself to basically psych yourself out of this magician energy, because if you really tap into it, I feel that you could make a lot of wonderful things happen for you this week. Or a Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo could be doing that for you. Okay. And then we have Breathe and Round and Round for the two oracles. This is from the Wisdom of the Oracle. So basically, Breathe is telling me to take a step back and to really reevaluate. Allow yourself to meditate. Allow yourself to take the time to actually think about something. If you're feeling overwhelmed by something, if you're feeling as though you haven't thought something out, or if you're just feeling mentally exhausted, or if you feel just mentally overwhelmed or overstimulated, take the time to actually breathe. And remember that your angels and your guides are always with you no matter what. And if you need guidance from them, just ask them for it, okay? You can do this by speaking aloud to them. You know, if you're like alone in a room, you could say, hey, spirit guides, I really need your guidance right now. Please give me a sign. Tell me that you're here. Do something. And, you know, pay attention to the signs. It probably won't be very obvious. It's not going to be like a huge, like, lightning bolt in front of your house. So, just pay attention to the signs, any sort of numbers that you see, any sort of symbols, animals that, any animals that are, what's the word? That just somehow come to your attention, or that just come up to you, or just animals that you see that you think are really important, whatever. That. Also, just be mindful of your thoughts. Be mindful of how you talk to yourself. Be mindful of your self-talk. And overall, just breathe. Take a deep breath if you need to. A lot of the time we get so caught up in life and everything else in life that we forget how to breathe, and we forget how to take care of ourselves in the smallest of ways. So if you're ever feeling overwhelmed or anxious, like I said, take a time to breathe, take a time to center yourself and to meditate even, or practice some yoga, or do something that calms you down from all of the anxiety or the doubts that you might be feeling this week, okay? And then we have round and round, which is basically signifying some sort of cycle that hasn't ended. So for some of you, you could be going back and forth as to whether or not you want to move forward with something, or you're going back and forth with some sort of situation that you've been struggling to close. This, to me, kind of signifies the world reverse, where the past keeps on repeating itself, and it's going to continue repeating itself if you're not doing things differently. So if you kind of continue, having the behavior of someone as the Page of Swords reverse, where you're either being very impulsive and not really thinking things through, or if you are fearing taking a risk and really refusing to take a risk because you don't know what the outcome could be, then that's not really going to help you. It's going to halt your progress. And so Round is saying that your advice for this week is for you to basically cut out the cycle, to do things differently, to actively do things differently. Yes, it's easier said than done, but it's very possible. So that is just something to be mindful of for you, okay? Make sure that you're just not walking around in a circle, reaching the same conclusions, doing the same things all over again, and basically getting the same results. And there's a reason why you're getting the same results, okay? What was that? Like, there's always that quote that I think of. I think it's by Albert Einstein, where it says, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results, essentially. So that's just something to be mindful of. Yeah. So I think that is all for you all, my loves. I hope that this resonates, or, I was able to give some sort of advice for you for the upcoming week. Let me know all of your thoughts and your feedback in the comments down below. Give me a big thumbs up if you like the video. Share with your friends, family, loved ones, neighbors, whoever. And subscribe and hit the bell notification to know when I upload my videos and all my future videos. And that is it, my love. If you want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so at sinfulpluto.com. Make sure that you read all of the terms and conditions, the policies, the product or reading description to know what you're getting yourself into, and so that you are well informed as to how my process works. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Sinfulpluto. So I think that is it, my loves. I hope that you have a wonderful week. Please take care of yourselves. Drink lots of water. Please be mindful of your thoughts. Be mindful of your breathing. And I think that's it. So I will talk to you soon, my loves. Bye. Hello, Group 2. How are you? I hope that you are all doing well. Obviously, if you chose this group, you chose the rose quartz. It looks a little bit faded right now. It looks hella white. I think it's because I put it out in the sun a lot, and so the color just faded, but it's supposed to be rose quartz. And so here is what we have for you for the upcoming week, my loves. So we have the Six of Swords, the Tower, and the Moon reversed. So heavy energy. Some of you could be dealing with a Pisces, or maybe some of you are a Pisces with this Moon card. It could also be in relation to a Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the Moon, so maybe it's a Cancer that you're dealing with, or maybe you are a Cancer. Obviously, not everyone who watches this is a Cancer or has Cancer placements in their chart, so just, if it doesn't resonate, that's fine. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. So basically, we see a lot of major changes for you, Group 2. Six of Swords starting off, there's a lot of transition. I feel that a lot of you are really moving forward. You're letting go of the past. Some of you could be going somewhere. You're moving with the Six of Swords. You could be moving somewhere, or you're transitioning somewhere this is simply a transition into a new phase of your life. Physically, like I said, you could be moving somewhere or going on vacation, or I think having a lot of fun or just being led by kind of like your impulse. I don't want to say your impulses, but I feel like you're just having a lot more fun in your life with the Six of Swords. And the reason why I say that is because the person, or the mermaid, or the merman, the mer person is sledding with a seal, right? And he's being guided by the seal. So it just feels like you're having a good time. You're really open to transition and you're open to moving forward. And it seems that nothing is really holding you back. Like I said, some of you could be traveling somewhere, or maybe you're just really, the internet could be like a big issue, or not a big issue, a big thing for you this week. Maybe you are transitioning on the internet, like if you're a public figure or a social media influencer, whatever it may be. Some of you could be transitioning on your social media journey and opening up to new possibilities, doing things differently, things along those lines. And we have the Tower. So if you are someone who is on social media or working to be on social media, whatever, I feel that a lot of you are restructuring, doing things differently. Some of you are kind of rebranding and revealing a lot more of yourself. It could be that before you were a little bit more hesitant to really show your personality, to reveal how you really felt about certain things or whatever it may be. There was some part of you that you were kind of hiding, and the moon reverse is telling me that you're rebranding, and the way in which we're rebranding is by revealing a little bit more of yourself, revealing a little bit more of your personal life, or anything that you may have kind of just kept to yourself or kept hidden from the rest of the world. But the Tower in general, if you're not, working in social media or whatever it may be, the Tower just signifies to me that there is a lot of restructuring going on in your life. Everything has kind of fallen down. And I feel like for some of you, this transition can be a little bit painful because the Tower isn't, just a walk in the park. It's not always a walk in the park. But it can be a little bit painful, or just a little bit difficult, or just a little bit heavy for you this week because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of purging going on. But if anything, it's all for the better, and I think that you know that, and so I think you're just trudging along, you're making everything work for yourself, you're doing the work, essentially. So the Tower is saying that, everything is falling apart, you're clearing up space, and you're clearing up a lot, I think, of subconscious things. The moon reversed is basically things coming to the surface, a lot of secrets coming to the surface. So this to me could be that there may have been things that you have repressed or suppressed in your subconscious that is finally coming up and you're facing them. And I feel that you're kind of just dealing with everything. There may have been certain things embedded into your subconscious or embedded into your, conditioning that you are breaking free from, and that have been revealed to yourself. And there's just a sense of overall awareness that I get with this card. I feel that you're learning so much about yourself and of others, and maybe you're learning a lot about certain habits or behavior patterns that you weren't even aware of, and so now you're given the chance to basically restructure them, to do things differently, to rewire your mind, to rewire your brain, and that's really awesome. I mean, I'm all for the progress. I'm all for the transition. I mean, why not? We should always be open, I think, to change, or positive change, should I say, and transition, and just things like that, and to just be open to the one constant in our life, which is change and transition and whatever. I sound a little bit corny, but that's kind of what it is. So I see that a lot of things are kind of just breaking down, but I think it's in such a positive way. Again, it might feel a little bit painful right now. It might feel a little bit hard and kind of just exhausting, but I feel like it's all for the better. I kind of want to clarify a little bit this Tower, what this Tower can specifically mean for some of you. So let's look into that really quick. What can this Tower, okay, I'm weighing so many cards, buddy. I feel like some of you are no longer allowing allowing the past to hold you back, or allowing just old emotions, pent up emotions hold you back. Again, I feel like there's just a sense of liberation, of moving forward, of doing your own thing, of transitioning into whatever it is that you are wanting to do. You're no longer letting the past hold you back, which I think is just really awesome. And I think a lot of you are kind of focusing a lot more on the present, or you need to focus a lot more on the present. So what does this Tower signify for group 2 for the week of September 15th? Can we get further clarity on this Tower? What exactly is breaking down? for group 2? What exactly is breaking down for group 2? What is breaking down for group 2 with this Tower card? There could be a lot of unexpected changes with this Tower, but again, all for the better. And I feel that with this Tower and the Moon reversed, in terms of these unexpected changes, I feel that you're going to learn about, again, a lot about yourself, but also about others and maybe how other people react to these changes. So that's something to be mindful of. I think pay attention to not only yourself, but to how other people act around you and how they behave around you. Ooh, we have the Three of Cups to clarify. To clarify the Tower. For some of you, friend groups could be kind of dissipating, but I feel like this is something that you really needed. I think that a lot could be being revealed about a certain friend group in your life or social group or something that involves other people. Again, like I literally just said, pay attention to how other people are treating you. Pay attention to how other people are reacting to you or to things around you or surrounding you, whatever it may be. Pay attention to how people are acting, because I feel like the reaction that they give you, it might be a little bit surprising, and it's going to reveal a lot of certain things. And I feel like any sort of illusion that you may have had in relation to social groups or in relation to friends or to whoever it may be, it's going to be quite eye-opening, I think. So that's just something to be mindful of, darlings. And then we have Here and Now and To the Sea. So, with all of these changes, you know, we might feel a little bit overwhelmed. We might feel a little bit just overstimulated and not really knowing what to do and not really knowing how to handle all of the energy, because yes, it is a little bit heavy. Yes, transition is not always the easiest thing. You know, change and progress isn't always a walk in the park, like I said. So it's important for you to focus on the here and now, to focus on the present, to focus on what you are doing now. Don't focus so much on what you're going to be doing a week from now or a month from now or a year from now. Don't focus so much on what happened in the past. Don't focus so much on the Tower that once was or the Tower that will be. Just focus on clearing your space. Focus on what you want to do now. Focus on your next move. Focus on cleaning everything up. Kind of cleaning up a little bit of the mess. Cleaning up a little bit of what is kind of still trying to cling on to you. And just be open to the ebb and flow of life, or the impermanence of life. And allow yourself to go with the flow. To the sea. That's what that means. Focus on going with the flow. Don't try to have anything super structured, because we have no structure anymore. We don't have a structure anymore. So this is your time to be free. This is your time to follow the waves. This is your time to just float. And that is it gives you such a feeling of freedom. So focus on that. Focus on just laying back, clearing your mind, and allowing the water, allowing the waves to just take you where you need to be, where you need to go. Don't focus on where it is. Don't focus on what you need to do when you get there. Just allow things to happen. Allow the universe to guide you and just follow it. And trust that you will get to where you need to be, that you will learn what you need to learn, that you will meet who you would need to meet. And focus on the now. Go with the flow, like I keep on saying. Go with the flow. Let go of any sort of control. If you're a control freak, listen, I know it's going to be a little bit of a hard thing for you, but just let go. You are going to feel so much more at peace when you don't have to worry about anything, when you don't have to be burdened by anything, when you can just allow yourself to float. And I know that it's a little bit difficult for you, control freaks out there, and you might even try to find things to worry about, right? But that's self-sabotage, and I need you to get out of it, okay? You're given the opportunity to float, so do that. Do just that, okay? Relax. it's a lot to release, and it's a lot to discover in general in the next 2 weeks. Or in the next week, should I say, in this upcoming week. So just allow yourself to relax a little bit. Take it step by step, and don't try to plan everything out all at once. Okay? You have all of your life to plan what you want to do. But right now, just focus on the now. Go with the flow. Let the universe take control for a little bit, okay? It's okay. It is all going to be okay. All right, so that is it for you, Group 2. I hope that it resonates with you in some way, or, I was able to give you some advice that you needed to hear. And if it did, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know all of your thoughts and feedback in general, even if it didn't resonate. Just let me know your thoughts, your feedback, anything that you want to say. I love to interact with you guys or with you all and hear what you all have to say. And give the video a big thumbs up if you want to, if you enjoyed it. And share with your friends, family, loved ones, neighbors, teachers, classmates, whoever. And subscribe, hit the bell notification to know when I upload my future videos. And if you want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so at Sinfulpluto.com. Make sure to read the terms and conditions, policies, reading descriptions, just to know exactly what you're getting yourself into, just so that you know my process and things of that nature. And if you will find me on social media, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Sinfulpluto. And anything else that you need to know or want to know will be in the description box, so go ahead and check that out if you desire. And I think that's it. So I hope that you have a wonderful week, my loves. I will see you next week if you decide to join us again. Make sure to drink water, take care of yourself, take your vitamins, things of that nature, okay? I love you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hello, Group 3. How are you? I hope that you are doing well. Obviously, if you chose this group, you chose the lapis lazuli, which is, I'm pretty sure, all about like intuition and things like that. I have yet to do research for my last video. But anyways, let's get into it. So your cards for the week are the Six of Pentacles, the Emperor reversed, and the Ace of Wands. So some of you could be dealing with an Aries with this Emperor card, also Capricorn. I always forget to mention that, but I also associate the Emperor with Capricorn. So you could be dealing with those two signs, or those two signs just have, that's like a major energy that you could be dealing with, Capricorn and Aries. So cardinal energy that you could be dealing with. It could also be your own energy of being a Capricorn or an Aries or having those placements in your chart. But anyways, we have the Six of Pentacles, which signifies an equal exchange of energy, or, an equal exchange of something in general, right? So give and take, reciprocation. And this to me kind of feels a lot like teamwork, doing, it reminds me a lot of factory work, where there's a person who has their own designated task, if you will. There's one person who, for example, puts a wheel on a bike, and then the other person puts on the screw on the bike to make sure that it's there, or then the person assembles the actual bike itself, or the body of the bike, right? So there's someone who has a different task, right? And whenever someone isn't there, or they're not replaced, or they're not, if they're just not there in general, that kind of messes up a little bit the process, and messes up the process of making that bike. And so that's kind of what it feels like with the Six of Pentacles, is that I feel that teamwork is really kind of a main theme for you this week, or there's a need to be in control. However, I see with this Emperor reversed, whether it's you or someone else, this Emperor, I see them trying to be in control, and it's almost like they want to watch on the sidelines. They don't really want to put in all of the work. They just want to be the leader. They want to tell people what to do, and it's weird because it's like you want to tell people what to do, but you're not even putting any sort of work into this whole thing. So what's your purpose here? That's kind of what it feels like. And when I say what's your purpose, I don't mean literally you, although it could be that this is your energy, and I'm asking you, I have to ask you this question, but that's just the overall kind of thing here, where someone is trying to be in control, Emperor reversed. They're trying to be in control. They want things a certain way, but it just feels like they're not even part of the actual assembling process. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it feels like. And so I feel that there's just there's this sort of competition almost with these two cards. Someone is just being very competitive, or they just want to be on top for some reason. But it's weird because it's all an equal exchange. It's not supposed to be a competition. I mean, where's the competition in trying to assemble a bike? You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird kind of analogy, but that's the best way that I can put it. And so it's like, boy, what? And so, yeah, so there's that whole situation. And then with this Ace of Wands, this to me, I don't know why, but this to me, it just serves as a reminder that there's abundance for everyone here. There's abundance for everyone to be successful. There's room for everyone to be successful. This doesn't have to be a competition. This doesn't have to be what it seems to be. It doesn't have to be some weird, just energy. It doesn't have to be this way. And so the Ace of Wands to me is just saying, like, there's enough for everyone. It's, just because there's one wand doesn't mean that only one person can have it, because like I said, it's not a contest, it's not a competition, this isn't a pageant, this isn't, I don't know, just a this isn't a competition to see whose dick is bigger. Like, it's really not. And so if this is you or someone else, this person, whoever this Emperor is, they just really need to get their act together. They need to clean up their attitude and just get it together, because it's really not that deep. It really isn't. It could also be that with this Emperor reversed, either you or the other person, however this resonates for you, reverse the roles however way you need to. But it feels like someone wants that equal exchange of energy. Someone wants reciprocity. For example, if this is a relationship, someone wants the reciprocity. Someone wants that back and forth, that communication. They want the equal exchange of energy, where both people are putting in equal amounts of effort. But the Emperor reversed, it just seems like they don't really care about that. I feel like they're focused more on themselves. They're just being a little bit selfish, and they don't care to give in the equal energy. They don't really care to cater to you. It's almost like they expect you to cater to them. Again, this could be a Capricorn or an Aries for you, but it's just someone who's really controlling. It could also be a father figure in your life if you want some sort of equal exchange or reciprocity from a father figure, or even someone who's in the military, because that's what this could also signify. This person wants you to cater to them, and they don't really care what you want. It's all about them. It's kind of like that quote, "We live in a men's world." That's kind of what it feels like. And this person doesn't have to be a man. Gender this is gender non-specific. So take it how it resonates, okay? The gender doesn't matter. Sex doesn't matter. That's not what this is about. But that's what it feels like, is this person doesn't care what you want. It's all me, 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 me. I want you to do this for me. And if you don't, then I'm either going to explode, or I'm somehow going to gaslight you, or make you feel bad, or make you feel guilty, to make you bend to my will. That's what it feels like. It's just someone kind of a dictator. This is very much kind of a dictator. So that's really what it feels like. But for some of you, this could be a sexual relationship with the Ace of Wands, and maybe you're having a hard time leaving this person or whatever, because, the intimacy between you guys is very nice, is very passionate. So that could just be a little bit of an issue. Also, it could signify that this week there could be a little bit of an issue in terms of, like, sexual reciprocity in the bedroom, where, this one person, again, either Capricorn or an Aries, or just someone very authoritative, someone very controlling, a little bit of a control freak, maybe a Virgo. I'm just kidding. Where they just expect you to pleasure them, and they don't really care about giving you any sort of pleasure. So that could also just be an issue. But I do want to clarify this Ace of Wands to see what that means for us. So what does this Ace of Wands signify for this week, for this upcoming week, for group 3? What does this Ace of Wands signify for group 3? We have the Empress reversed. Okay. Okay, this to me signifies someone who is very submissive, someone who they follow their orders. I mean, we have the Emperor reversed and the Empress reversed. So this is clearly a couple. So for some of you, this could be relationship related, whether it's a friendship or a friends with benefits sort of thing, or a romantic relationship, whatever it may be for you, okay? But I see someone, especially when it comes to intimacy, like physical intimacy, I see someone who is very controlling, someone who's focused very much on themselves, and then I see someone who is very submissive, someone who's very, who neglects their own needs, or who is having their needs or wants or desires neglected because of this Emperor person. Does that kind of make sense? And so with these two cards, it's interesting because they're both reversed. So the energy is very much being reciprocated, right? For some of you, the energy is very much being reciprocated because it'd be different if one of the cards was upright and one of them was reversed, but both of them are reversed. So it's like there's an equal exchange of energy, but it's not the energy that we would really want. Does that kind of make sense? Rather than like healthy energy or healthy habits or behaviors being exchanged between one another, it's unhealthy behaviors and attitudes and mindsets being exchanged between these two people, right? That's kind of the whole thing. So there's that energy going back and forth, but it's just not the best sort or the best kind. And it could be revolving around physical intimacy, sex, like I said, you know, if you're of age, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. But yeah, so that's kind of what it seems like. So that could be a little bit of an issue. Also, again, Empress reverse is just someone. Also, the Empress. Okay, aside from being submissive and just really, someone who neglects their own needs or who is having their needs neglected for the sake of this Emperor person. The Empress reverse can also just signify someone who's just very easily jealous, someone who's very manipulative, someone who is holding something over the other person. And again, it's just that back and forth of kind of toxic and unhealthy energy, kind of, is what it seems like. So, but the thing that is holding them back together is just the Ace of Wands, is the passion, is the physical intimacy, the physical attraction, the sexual attraction, all of those things. It could also be that the Strength card, it feels a lot like a power struggle, because the Strength card reverse or Strength upright can also sometimes signify, to me at least, someone who's just trying to be in control. So it's just a back and forth of there's just a power struggle that feels like. It feels a lot like a power struggle. It feels just a back and forth of not really all that great energy. Yeah. And here we have the Two of Swords reversed, and if you look at it upright, it's just like two people sparring. This is a power struggle, and someone is very clearly losing, and I feel like it got very deep very quickly, and it wasn't supposed to be this way, but you're down the rabbit hole, and now you don't really know what to do. So that's what it feels like for this week for a lot of you. And then we have, for the Oracle, we have Clean It Up and Imagine. So with the Imagine card, what I get from this is that some of you need to be very careful of where your imagination leads you, and make sure that you are not allowing yourself to fall for any sort of illusion or delusion or anything of that along those lines. Make sure that you are grounded in reality and that you are seeing things for what they are rather than what you want to see them. Make sure that you are seeing things right. Make sure that you are using your discernment so that you can make a knowledgeable and well-informed decision. And make sure that you're just not getting yourself into anything that, you know, not getting involved with a pipe dream. And making sure that, you know, if someone is trying to sell you a pipe dream, make sure that you are able to discern it. Make sure that you are able to see it for what it is and not get caught up in the dream, not get caught up in the illusion of what they are trying to sell you. Okay? It could also be with this Imagine card that some of you might need to be a little bit more creative as to how you approach a certain situation in your life. Some of you might need to think things through as to how you want this equal exchange of energy, or how you want to improve this equal exchange of energy. And then we have Clean It Up, which It's funny because the first thing that I thought of when I saw this card was like clean up your act. So someone needs to clean up their act, or you and another person both need to clean up their act. But I just seen things needed to be cleaned up. Maybe clearing the air, or just dusting things off, or just letting things, or just basically cleaning. Okay, if there's something that you need to clear up, you know, whether it's something you need to get something off of your chest, or if you need to get your act together, if this other person needs to get their act together, I feel like that is something that is advised for this coming week, because there's just a lot of like gunk that is in the way, and you need to clear up that space so that you can approach this Ace of Wands, which essentially just talks about a new beginning. Yeah. I just feel like you just need to clear up everything. Clean up your act, clean up your attitude, just clean up anything that just doesn't serve you. And this also applies to anyone else. You know, it's not just you. It could just be someone who is in your life who needs to clean up their act. It could also just be with this cleaned up card is that some of you literally need to clean things up physically, like clean your house, clean your room, clean your physical space. This is a good time to clean your physical space, mental space, emotional space, spiritual space, whatever it is. Clean it up and clear it out and release all of it so that you can just enter a new phase of life and allow yourself to imagine something better. Not necessarily plan it out, but just think about it and just visualize for some of you. Okay? Okay. I think, honestly, I think that's it for you all. I think that is all that we have for this pick a card. I think that's it. I don't really have anything else to say. So if you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments down below. If it resonates, please let me know. And I would love to hear all of your thoughts and all of your feedback. If you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. Share with your friends, family, loved ones, classmates, teachers, neighbors, whoever. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to know when I upload my future videos. And if you want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so at Sinfulpluto.com. Make sure to read all of the policies, terms and conditions, things of that nature, so that you know what you're getting yourself into and you're not just going into it blindly, okay? If you want to follow me on social media, you can do so at Sinfulpluto. You can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Sinfulpluto. And I think that is it, my loves. So I will talk to you all later. I hope that you enjoyed this. Please take care of yourselves for this week. Please drink lots of water, okay? Take the time to stretch. Take the time to go outside, even if it's for a few minutes, and just take in the air of nature, okay? Hug a tree if you want to. And I think that's it. I love you all, and I will talk to you soon.